Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Shamal Pope, aka J Phoenix. And in this video, we're going to be going over the February 2024 astrological transits. It's going to be an overview, so I'll just be touching on, looking at it week by week, taking a look at the calendar. And then, of course, at the end, I'll be drawing a card or two for each of the 12 signs so you can see, how you can be better prepared to navigate February. February is shaping up to be a pretty interesting month. I think January, the first little bit of it was kind of like a bit of a precursor. And then, of course, we had the major Sun-Pluto conjunction that happened at the very end of Capricorn. And then the Sun moving into Aquarius. And then 11 to 12 hours later, Pluto moving into Aquarius. And then, of course, we ended off the month with double, you can even argue triple grand Earth trines. So a lot of powerful shifting energy, and February is no different. I would argue to say that we have a transit that's going to be happening towards the end of the month on the 28th. That's going to be very, very strong. You could argue to say that's going to be as intense as the Sun-Pluto conjunction, but it's definitely right up there, right? So now, as far as, because I know normally I've been trying to do a better job at getting the daily out the night before. So for the daily for February 2nd, I'm going to actually film that tonight. I'm not gonna have enough time to film it before I have to go to work. So I'm gonna film that tonight, and then that one will drop in the morning, but then it'll be right back to the regular scheduled programming, if you will. So we're gonna go ahead and, like I said, hop into that calendar, take a look at February at a glance, and then we'll see. We'll just kind of go from there. I know the last time I made this, I made it live. I think it's mainly because I would prefer, if I'm going to do a video like this and make it live, I'd rather it be at night. But my schedule for the next 5 days is so jam-packed that I have to just get this in when I can get it in. So hopefully this, guys, helps you all out. Hopefully, it assists you on your journey this February. And, I have, like I said, this is a great video that you can always refer back to. And I have another also great resource too. I have this astrology guide that I put together. It's a nice comprehensive guide. It kind of goes over some of like the basic stuff with astrology, but it also does touch on some other things like essential dignities, which is very, very important. It touches on, of course, the planets themselves, the rulerships, the houses, the essential dignities as far as like what planets are exalted in what signs and what their rulerships are, what falls where. And then, of course, we'll go over aspects too and kind of give you guys like a basic rundown that conjunction means amplify, or square means challenge, or a trine is like a harmonizing energy. Sextile is an opportunity. Opposition is like a battle. Quincunx is awkward. You know what I mean? So I kind of just go over all that stuff. If you want me to send you this guide, I will send it to you for free. All right? I will send this guide to you for free. Like I said, it's just a basic starter guide, if you will, but it's pretty comprehensive. It's really good, and I made sure it's easy to follow with. If you want this guide, just let me know. I will email it to you. So, anyways, let's go ahead and pull up that calendar. I'll go ahead and take a sip of my coffee. Made it a little bit different from the last one as far as the way it looks. Well, let me turn the volume on my phone down too, so y'all don't just hear that in the background. See, there you go. My phone's just gonna go off if I don't turn off the volume. Look at that. Alrighty. Turn that down. Turn that down. Actually, we'll turn call volume up so I can hear people if they happen to call me. All right. So this is your February 2024 transit calendar. So. And we'll just kind of go at this week by week. Now, the way I have this is that I have the important dates in yellow. These are the dates that I believe are going to be some of the most important of the month. And then I have the mega important dates in red. Okay, so there's that. And I put 3 of them for the month. I'm thinking I'm probably going to pick 3 for each month. I think that's a good number. And I do think that with this particular month, the mega important dates just get more and more intense as the month continues on. So The time that I'm making this, of course, it's Thursday, so that's going to be when the moon enters into Scorpio, and you're going to see the Mercury sextile over to Neptune, followed by a third quarter square of the moon. So we're going to start getting these moons and Scorpios squaring over to the sun in Aquarius with Pluto there. So that's going to be interesting. Saturday is a day of building energy. There's not really a whole lot going on there except for the moon making different aspects. Now remember, when it comes to these transit calendars here, I'm only going to be I'll show where the moon is moving, but I'm not going to show all the moon's aspects because then this will look even more congested than it already does. You can see some days there's like 3 to 4 transits that are happening. On other days, there's like maybe 1. Some days there's maybe like 2. If I put all of the moon aspects, this chart will get really, really congested. So I only have whenever the moon ingresses into a new sign and when the moon is doing something like a full moon or a new moon or a squaring moon. I think those the quarter squares, like the first quarter square, the third quarter squares, those are also important, right? So, like I said, Saturday we had the building energy, and then on Sunday we're going to see that moon shift into Sagittarius. Then on the 5th we get the first of the what I feel are the mega important days. Let's drill down. We're going to see that Mercury that's going to enter into Aquarius. It's also going to conjunct Pluto. The Sun will sextile over to Chiron, and then Venus will square Chiron. So that's going to be intense. Mercury is going to be moving into an air sign, but it's going to be meeting up with the executioner of Pluto in Aquarius. So this is going to be I feel like this is going to be probably the first intense day of the month, especially with that Sun. It will be sextiling Chiron, so there's a nice opportunity there. But then Venus is going to be squaring Chiron. Venus is going to be in Capricorn squaring it. And now Venus is pretty much like, it's trailing behind, you know what I mean? So it's like all these energies are beginning to move into Aquarius. We're about to like really be fully into Aquarius season, right? So because it'll only be about a week and some change until Mars will enter into Aquarius. So now the Sun is left, Mercury is left, and now Venus is going to be there squaring over to Chiron. So even though the Sun is sextiling Chiron, the Sun will be in its detriment, right? So it would rather be in Leo. It's in its detriment, so it has difficulty expressing itself there. So its power isn't necessarily as strong. That's not to say that Aquariuses aren't strong people. It's just that, that's just how the Sun operates in Aquarius. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit outside the box. It's a little unorthodox, right? They shine in a different way, So yeah, there's an opportunity to open up and to heal our wounds and not overly identify with, the Chiron and Aries, not overly identify with how we may have been a victim in the past or how we, maybe we didn't fully express our personality in the past. But Venus is not going to be squaring Chiron, so it's going to be like, well, shit. If I want to receive, the praises from other people and accolades, I want to impress people in a Capricornian kind of way, I might have to, kind of go along with, the personality traits or the ways of being and the actions that people have set before me. This is going to be an interesting day where, that's, like I said, the Sun sextile Chiron. There's an opportunity to really shine bright and to really be your unique self. But the question is, are you willing to accept and embrace that version of yourself? Because it may not necessarily fit in with the way that society wants you to do things. You may feel the need to compromise yourself on a day like today. And especially with Mercury shifting signs and being on Pluto, our minds are going to really focus on this deeper transformation. And it's an Aquarius season. So people may feel the need to like really try to escape their reality, if you will, and maybe kind of just detach a little bit. It's going to be a day where people, and it's on a Monday, no less, too. Now, I guess the good thing is that the moon will be in Sag, so at least there's a little bit of jovial energy, but it's definitely going to be a day where people are kind of they're going to want to detach. It's going to be an interesting day. It's going to be a strong day where people are going to be questioning their character. And your character is going to come into question on a day like Monday, and whether or not you're really going to be true to who you are and true to yourself and not necessarily just go with the flow of what everyone else wants you to do or thinks is best for you or think is what's going to take you to the next level. You have to ask yourself what's going to take you to that next level. So Monday the 5th is going to be a very strong day. Now Tuesday, you got the Venus square the nodes. The moon's going to enter into Capricorn. The sun will sextile the node and trine the south node, the north node and the south node, right? Now it would seem like those days are pretty intense as well, just considering the amount of things that are happening. Of course, with Venus squaring the nodes, Venus might as well start squaring the nodes on Monday, and it probably does. So it's, Chiron is there too. That's the other thing, is that Monday energy kind of feeds into a bit of the Tuesday, and especially with that moon entering into Capricorn during all this, and the sun's going to sextile the north node that day as well, and trine the south node. It's one of those days where, like, if you can get through Monday and you can get to Tuesday, not that it's not going to be without its challenges because of the Venus squaring the node, but at least that sun will now be sextiling the north node. And then with that moon moving into Capricorn, it's now going to be in its detriment. So that you got a sun in detriment, you got a moon in detriment. Like it's going to be an interesting transition. But if you can make it through that Monday and get to that Tuesday and see the positive and see the beauty and, building what, is true within your heart and what you really want to do, what you really want to express, and what's, on your path and not on anyone else's path, then you're going to be gravy. Going Wednesday, you're going to see that Mars sextiling over the Neptune. The moon will enter its balsamic phase that day, which means it'll be within 30 degrees of the new moon. So generally when the moon enters that balsamic phase, things get a little bit more intense and to get a little bit more interesting. It's like it's entering the 12th house to the sun. And it means it's in a hidden zone. It means that these emotions are going to be a little bit more etheric. That means that there could be greater influences on your actions and on your energy and on your vibration from these different aspects. It's probably a good idea to avoid too many mind-altering substances during the balsamic phase of the moon, or at the very least, if you do that, I wouldn't really recommend going out on Wednesday. I wouldn't really recommend like doing too much on when the moon is in its balsamic phase, because that's a tendency when people get to kind of get potentially overtaken by the dark, overtaken by their shadows, overtaken by the negative aspects of the 12th house, which are, some of these interesting even though it's mutable, it's these interesting fixations of escapism that we think are going to make us feel better, right? At least we have Venus trining Uranus that day, but we got to remember Uranus is also in fall. We have a lot of planets that are going to be in tough positions, right? So going into Thursday, these are some of the important dates. Sun square Uranus, which is always important whenever the sun does that, and that moon will enter into Aquarius, which means that it will conjunct Pluto also on that Thursday. So, and then on Friday, of course, you have the new moon in Aquarius that will be occurring. That week caps off with Mercury that's going to square over to Jupiter, and the moon is also going to enter into Pisces. So for that first, 10 days or so, we see the first third of the month, it's that last little bit there that does get pretty intense. And really, I could have probably put Tuesday the 6th and Wednesday the 7th as yellow as well. But I think after Monday, it does kind of slack up a little bit. But I think that's going to be a week where we really are going to be looking in the mirror a lot. And we're really going to be challenged in many ways to, do you have the courage to really express who you are, irregardless of how it may be perceived by the establishment or by larger groups of people? Do you value yourself? That's the Sun square Uranus. Do you value your unique rebellious self? You have to be able to look at this and go about things in a different, unique way. And it may appear a bit austere to some people. You may feel like you get ostracized on that first week or so of February, especially if you really do express your creativity, your passion, and who you really are, irregardless of what society may deem as, professional or good or the best. Only you can establish that for yourself. So now on the 11th, I have it highlighted as yellow. And I guess you could have highlighted it as a red, maybe even like a pink, because I think that this one is very, very important. This is the day that Chiron begins its conjunction with the North Node and opposes the South Node. Now, Chiron and the North Node have been traveling with each other for quite some time now. And this conjunction is very important because over the next 2 weeks, because it's a 2-week aspect, because these energies move so slowly that we're going to feel them like they'll cross over right after the full moon of Virgo that happens. And then, well, I think it's actually the crossover a little bit earlier. But by the time the 25th comes, that's when I want to say it's Chiron that moves to the 17th degree. So it officially moves off the conjunction. It'll still be somewhat strong. It'll just be, we'll be more like in the wake of the transit. You know what I'm saying? So we may feel a little bit wavy afterwards. Now, this is a very important transit, and it's going to last the majority of the month. So this is going to be a energy that's kind of hanging out in the background, but with it being an Aries, things are going to be brought to a head. Things are going to be brought to the forefront. Now, on the 12th, the moon's going to move into Aries. All right, on the 13th, we're going to see Mars enter into Aquarius. So they left Venus all alone in Cap. Right? Venus is all left alone in the mansion. Left alone. Everyone's gone to outer space, and they left Venus behind. Now, Venus is going to sextile Neptune, and Mars is going to conjunct Pluto that day. You gotta remember, Mars and Pluto, they kind of get along. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'd say Saturn is like the mafia boss. Mars is like, the lackey, kind of like the grunt worker. And, Pluto is the executioner. You know what I'm saying? Pluto almost doesn't really fuck with Saturn like that. I mean, he'll do it, but he's almost sort of like, Pluto in many ways can almost sort of be like a bounty hunter, if you will. So and I think Saturn understands that. And then Pluto, honestly, Pluto doesn't necessarily Pluto is about business and stuff like that too. But Pluto also has no problem just kind of letting Saturn do what it does. Because so long as Pluto could be in a position where Pluto can do what Pluto does, he's cool. Pluto's chill. But you're going to see Mars enter into Aquarius that day, and it's going to conjunct Pluto as soon as it hits there because it's at 0 degrees. And of course, the Venus sextile to Neptune, there's an opportunity that opens up for us to maybe receive like a higher sense of imagination, but it's also going to come with the planet of action and war beating up with Pluto, and Aquarius has 0 degrees. Now, I have to look to see if we actually, I'll just look. I mean, I might not show you guys on here, but I have to just go back a year to even see if we got, no, we did not get this. We did not get this energy last year. Because I can see that Pluto moved into Aquarius, but Mars was all the way in Cancer. So we haven't, this is the first time that we will see, this is the first time in all of our lives that we will see Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. This will be the first time that any of us has ever seen this. And I'm going to make the assumption as well that it's the same with Mercury. Because it is the same with Mercury. That's what it looks like. Let me just take a look. Because it looks like Pluto, it did. It moved forward and then it retrograded at 0 degrees, of course. Yeah, so we haven't seen this. This is new for all of us, right? So we don't necessarily know what's going to happen with that kind of energy. That's why I highlighted it as highlighted it as yellow, because I think the 16th is even more interesting, right? So Moon's going to enter into Taurus on Wednesday the 14th to bring about some grounding energy on Valentine's Day, which, of course, coming after a Mars on Pluto in Aquarius, something that no one alive has experienced unless you're a vampire. Yeah. Intense energies. Thursday, we got that Mercury is going to sextile Chiron, North Node, and trine the South Node as it continues to move forward. And then on Friday is the other mega important date. Why? Well, we have the first quarter moon. The moon is going to be towards the end of Taurus, making a square over to the sun in Aquarius, right? We got Venus It's going to be entering into Aquarius that day. The moon is going to enter into Gemini that day, and Mercury is going to square Uranus. So the reason why I put this as like a red day, and I guess you kind of could argue that the 13th is a red day as well, but I think it's because we have two shifting energies. We have that first quarter moon, so that's going to be a square there, even though the moon is exalted in Taurus, so that's going to be positive. But then you also have Mercury, which is going to be squaring over to Uranus as well, which is in Taurus. So there's going to be more of a focus. There's a big focus on the Aquarius, Taurus energy, if you will. That moon moving into Gemini is going to bring about a little bit of a lighter energy to kind of help with this. But I think it's going to be one of those days. Of course, remember, the moment that Venus enters into Aquarius, it's conjuncting Pluto. Even though that conjunction doesn't come exact until Saturday, it's still, we're going to feel that energy. So that's what this is. That's what this month is. It's like we're seeing these energies move into Aquarius, and then bam, you see Mercury conjunct Pluto, and then you see Mars conjunct Pluto, and then you're going to see Venus conjunct Pluto, right? If Venus and Mars are getting closer and closer together, so we get major conjunctions of Pluto back to back to back at 0 degrees. This is something that just simply does not happen. It just doesn't happen, especially with a slower outer moving planet. You just don't see this kind of energy. Venus conjuncts Pluto, and then the energy kind of relaxes a little bit. Moon enters into Cancer, Sun enters into Pisces, Moon enters into Leo. Venus conjunct Mars, which is something that's been building up for a while. Remember, Venus tried to catch up to Mars last year during the summer, but she retrograded in Leo and never quite could catch up to Mars, right? They never could quite catch up. So Venus catches up to Mars, it catches up to Mars, finally getting the chance to overtake him. Excuse me, got my coffee here. So they finally meet up in Aquarius, no less, right? She wanted to meet up with him in Leo. Nah, it's happening in Aqua. I think this means like we have to really approach our relationships from a different angle, from a different stance, from a different way, you know? And this is happening while Pluto is there too. So, and Mercury is going to be there too. So this is, yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty powerful conjunction. I don't think it's not the most powerful, but whenever Venus and Mars comes together, it's fireworks. With the being in Aquarius, this is like Star Wars fireworks. Like this is like some sort of like this is like Romeo and Juliet, but in space. That's kind of what this is, especially with a month like this. Yeah, this is like Romeo and Juliet, but in space. That's what it kind of feels like. Thursday is a building energy day. And then moving into the 23rd, we want to see Mercury enter into Pisces and the moon entering into Virgo. So they're going to oppose each other. Then on Saturday, we get that full moon in Virgo with Venus squaring over to Jupiter. So now Venus is moving faster than Mars. Mars was leading the pack for the longest time. Now everything has sped past Mars, right? And then finally, on the 25th, the Chiron North Node conjunction ends. So for 2 weeks, we are going to see a lot of shifting energy. We're going to see conjunctions. We're going to see major squares. We're going to see a full moon. We're going to see multiple conjunctions to Pluto. And this is all happening while Chiron and the North Node are together in Aries. No pressure, but the pressure is definitely on. This is going to be the last 2 weeks of February is really going to challenge your integrity, the integrity of your character, the integrity of your heart, whether you can live from your heart space, whether or not you can trust yourself, trust your creative potential, and not outsource yourself, and not just outsource yourself to the highest bidder. This is going to be a month, especially this last half of the month, that is going to challenge you and see whether or not you're going to sell your soul. And I'm just going to be real. Are you going to sell your soul to a system that has already collapsed? And it's just people literally just trying to clamber on to the millions of fractured pieces, and they're trying to paste it all together. And they're going to try and pass it off as if they have it all together, as if the system isn't as shattered as it actually is, as if the matrix isn't as shattered as it actually is. It's going to be presented in such a way that's going to make it look nice and beautiful, and they have it all together, and that you too can play in this game of magical chairs. Now, we still have to learn how to move through the system that is shattered, but we have to do so in a way without compromising our integrity. In the last part of this month, from the 11th to the 25th, and I would really say honestly from the 11th on, it's going to challenge that. The 5th is the precursor to the rest of the month. On the 26th, we're going to have Mars square Jupiter, Moon entering in Libra. 27 is a building energy day, and then the 28th is what I think is going to be one of the most powerful days of the month. And it would normally be the last day of the month, but we are in a leap year. The Sun and Mercury and Saturn will all conjunct at 9 degrees of Pisces, and the Moon at the same time will enter into Scorpio. Mercury is in fall. The Moon is in fall. So we have two planets that will be in fall, and we have the Sun, so like your heart, your vitality, and your spirit. Mercury, the planet of communication, in fall in Pisces, so it's like trying to talk underwater. And then Saturn, the captain of the ship, if you will, the adulting planet, I call it the planet of adulting, growing up, all meeting up in Pisces. Now, if you don't think for a second that they're going to try and pull something on this day, whoever they are, if you don't think for a second that they're not going to try and pull something on this day, and something's going to come to light. Something major is going to come to light with this major Kazemi happening. And it's going to be Piscean in nature. So spiritual, religious stuff, maybe drug type stuff. I don't know. Especially with the moon into Scorpio, and we'll be at fall. Not an easy energy. Now, it can be a very powerful energy. Now, because you got to remember, conjunctions mean that they're amplifying each other's energy. So the Sun and Mercury and Saturn are all amplifying each other's energy. I can see people making some bold declarations on this day. I can see people really wanting to tug at the heartstrings today with the moon entering into Scorpio. This will be probably one of the most intense days of the entire year. And then the following day, it's Venus sextile the node, North Node, trine South Node, and Mercury is going to sextile Jupiter. So at least we get like some nice little opportunities to open up the next day on Leap Day. But it all pretty much coalesces unto that 28th. 29th is sort of like the cherry on top. And it's literally a cherry on top because we don't always experience the 29th. It's a leap year, right? So talk about a major portal and a quantum leap, right, into the rest of the year. I think that this is going to be a month that is really going to put people on notice. I think this is going to be a month that is going to really, you're going to see people double down on their integrity. You're going to see some people sell themselves out. You're going to see some people really waver on the fence on whether or not they should commit to certain things or not, to certain people or not, to certain businesses or not, to certain projects or not. This is going to be a month about integrity. This is going to be a month about whether or not you're going to sell your soul to a system that has completely shattered. And this month, if your eyes are open, you will see that this system is done. It's done. It's done. This entire year of 2024 is a miraculous attempt at damage control. And it's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think God will let it work. But we have to play out this story. We still have to play out this energy. I mean, you got a 2-week conjunction of the Chiron and North Node at the same degree. And in between that, you have multiple conjunctions to Pluto, first quarter moon, a full moon, Venus conjunct Mars, which, like I said, is like Star Wars. It's like for that, it honestly feels like Star Wars plus Romeo and Juliet. That's what the 21st feels like, especially with it being a week before the major cazimi of Sun, Mercury, Saturn, and Moon moving into Scorpio. It's like a Star Wars that was caused by a misunderstanding. And they finally meet in Aquarius. Now, you remember, this conjunction is opposing the Venus retrograde that we experienced in Leo last year, which was the first time that any of us ever experienced a Venus that began its retrograde in Leo and stayed in Leo the entire time, because it would start in Virgo and go back into Leo. But last year was the first time that it happened exclusively in Leo, and this Venus conjunct Mars is going to oppose that retrograde space. So yeah, that is the overview for February. Like I said, as you can see, it's going to be pretty intense. We will talk more in depth about these days as they come for the various, daily horoscopes. I think this will shape up to be one of the most powerful months of the year. And I think, honestly, just the entire year is going to be powerful. And it's just going to be more and more and more, to be fair. But I think, that's why I said, I'm not saying that the Sun-Pluto conjunction wasn't strong, because it was. I just feel like with this February that there's a lot of stuff happening. And you can see the reason why I feel like the Sun-Mercury-Saturn conjunction may be more intense than the Sun-Pluto conjunction. And it could be because more so that Mercury and Saturn's energy is more obvious to us than Pluto's energy. So maybe that's what it is, because these planets move much faster than Pluto. Pluto is more generational. It's more subtle in its energy, whereas Mercury is a lot more obvious and Saturn is a lot more obvious in its energy. But for them to happen after everything else that happens in the month, yeah, very strong, because we get moments of somewhat reprieve and then we end the month with a bang. And then we got a nice little cherry on top with the 29th. It's crazy too, right? And I think, was it the Chinese New Year, I think, starts pretty much right after the new moon. Because I think Chinese New Year is on the 10th this year. So that's going to be the day where Mercury is going to square Jupiter and the moon is going to enter into Pisces. So right after the new moon, we have the Chinese New Year that starts, and it's the year of the dragon, mind you. The year of the freaking dragon. And what happens on the 11th, right after we enter the year of the dragon? Chiron conjuncts the North Node and South Node. The North Node is like the head of the dragon. The South Node is like the tail of the dragon. And it's like eating itself, essentially. That's kind of what it's like, anyways. So, yeah. Strong, powerful month. Very powerful month. So, let's go ahead and get back here. And now I'm going to draw cards for all of the signs. So I'm going to make sure, of course, that I write down all of the stamps. So when I go back and add them in, you can just go to whatever sign that you want to watch for. I actually do recommend watching all of them. At the very least, watching your Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, and Venus. I think those are the ones that you should definitely watch the most. But yeah, it's important to watch it, or you can watch it for like your friends and your family and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So annoy them is like, Jay Phoenix, I follow, he said that this is going to happen for you this month. They're going to look at you like, talk about. Oh, shoot. You know what? I'm going to use a different deck. I've been using this deck for a bit. I'm being called to use a different deck. What deck am I going to use? I could use my anime deck. Where is that one? I do like that deck. I don't know where that deck is. That is not that. That is an Oracle deck. That is a deck that I don't use very often at all. That is the first deck I ever bought. Let's see. Haha, I found it. My anime deck. I want to use my anime deck. So, the only thing about this deck is that I've shuffled it so many times that the cards are kind of like bent in a way, so I have to like shuffle them a little bit differently. So, you know what? And I'm also going to, I will do an oracle card as well for each sign too. So, I think what I'm going to do, looks like I'm going to just kind of switch up the decks that I use. Where's the color deck? That's what I want to use. I'm going to use my color deck. I haven't used that deck in a while. Let's see, where are you at? I'm pretty sure you're in a green, or is this you actually? No, that's a different one. That one's too thin. Look at me. I should have been more prepared, right? Oh, where is it? Is it in a red one? I have so many decks, y'all. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, I know what it's gonna feel like. No, that's not it. I think this is it right here. Yeah, I haven't used this deck in a while. It's my color deck. So, yeah, I haven't used this one in a while. So, cool. That's what we will do. I'm going to do that. And with this color deck, I'm only going to shuffle it one time. And I'm going to just kind of switch the cards around and stuff too. So whenever you kind of get something a little bit different. Now with the other cards, it may be a little bit more, you know, some of the same themes may come up. So yeah. I hope that this is helping you guys out so far. Just let me know, of course, in the comments below. Like I said, ideally, I would have made this live, but if I do it live, I'd rather do it at a time where I feel like more people can hop on. So some like in the evening time, you know, like 7, 8 p.m. or so. But I got to find time to get it done, and this is what I saw fit. So we are going to go in order, of course. I'm going to just draw cards. I think on the last one, I know I talked about particular transits and stuff, but I think I'm going to just draw cards just generally for like the whole month and just kind of, you know, give you guys kind of like an idea of what's going on. So. All right, so Aries, we'll start with you. So write down that timestamp. Aries. Well, look at you, Aries. You got the King of Wands. You're coming out firing on all cylinders from what it seems like. You're ready to take the world by storm and really start to invoke your sense of self. And really just show people that you're about it, and you're not going to back down, and you're not playing any games this month, Aries. Probably just because, you know, I think you can feel all the energy that's starting to well up, all the energy starting to, they're going to start moving into your sign. You can kind of feel that happening. But like I said, that major for you is that North Node Chiron conjunction that's happening in your sign. That's been there for a while. So Aries, you've been dealing with this the most on being true to yourself. You know, so yeah, Aries, your integrity, like everyone else's, is going to be called into question. Not that you're not as far as like being challenged, if you will, it's going to be challenged like everyone else. But with the King of Wands here, seems like you are going to remain in integrity, which is freaking awesome. Bottom of the deck, I have the Lovers card. Ooh, I mean, your ruling planet does meet up with Venus in Aquarius, so. Wow, Mars, looks like some of you guys may be falling in love this month, or at the very least, you're going to be feeling the love more. And I think Aries, I think, you know, mainly for you, it's like when you're feeling yourself, that's when the love shows up. when you are really being yourself and authentic to you, that's when the love shows up. Now, the main thing about you, Aries, is that sometimes what happens is that you're all about the excitement and the spark and the initiation, but it's about whether or not that energy can be sustained. Can it be sustained? Can it actually last a good bit? So I think with your ruling planet conjuncting Venus and Aquarius in your 11th, you can establish a deeper friendship with somebody, you know, and yeah, it can be exciting. It can be fireworks. It can feel like a freaking galactic fight, like a Star Wars kind of deal shit with it being an Aquarius. But like I said, it's opposing the spot that Venus retrograded. It's about establishing those longer, deeper connections with someone, establishing that deeper sense of intimacy, which I know sometimes, Aries, you're afraid of. Ground yourself. Ground yourself, Auburn. I love this. Look at that deep. It's more of like a fall color, but it's like that deep orangey brown kind of feeling. So I think, you know, for you, Aries, go outside in the nature, go to the park, ground yourself, you know, do something that really, you know, connects you back to Mother Earth, Gaia. I think it's going to be very, very important for you this month. That's what's going to help you get through this. You know, you got the King of Wands, so you got like one of your cards. You have the fire, you have the passion to lead, and I think you want to be that leader too as well. I mean, you are, you know, your planet is exalted in Capricorn, so you guys are natural leaders. I think sometimes you just need someone to kind of help you organize some of your thoughts and your ideas and your actions, you know. And maybe this lovers is kind of reminding you of that you don't have to do everything by yourself, you know, but you know, still, you have to know yourself. And when you know yourself, you will attract to yourself and attract into your life the right people that are going to help to kind of organize what can be sometimes a chaotic energy that you have, because sometimes your energy is a little bit chaotic here. It's not going to lie. But if you can find the right people in your corner that will help you to kind of organize and see your potential and have you, you know, kind of give you the ideas and the steps and, you know, act in a way. And now you have to make sure that their suggestions line up with what's truly in your heart. I think that's what you're going to be asking yourself, is that the suggestions of other people, do they align with what's in your heart? You know what I mean? So it's like, I think with a month like this, like I said, when it's really focused on personal integrity, you know, we can still take advice and counsel from other people. We just have to make sure that it aligns with their heart. So Aries, for you, these people that come in, that are establishing these deeper connections with you, you have to make sure that it's aligned with your heart, and then realize that they may be able to offer you something to kind of help, kind of, you know, for you to kind of see the world in a different color, and for you to kind of take, you know, maybe what can be very intense, very sporadic actions and mold it in a way that gives you long-term sustainable success, right? So that's what I got for you guys. All right, so I'm gonna shuffle that back in. Oh, wow. Taurus, your card just came right on out, looks like. So Taurus, for you, Taurus, I have the King of Swords. This card just came right out as I was shuffling, right? King of Swords. So we got two kings right off the bat. I've been getting a lot of court cards lately. A lot of court cards. So Taurus, you know, this is probably the whole Uranus that's in your sign still, that's having a lot of influence. I think this is going to be a month where, you know, the King of Swords, you know, makes bold declarations. It's very kind of like, you know, very intelligent king. You know what I'm saying? He's able to think his way through situations. It kind of gives me Shikamaru energy from like Naruto, the King of Swords. So this is going to be, you know, you're going to be kind of in strategy mode, I feel like, for this February, Taurus. This conjunction, you know, and maybe that's what I'm focusing on. Maybe it's that sun, maybe not sun, excuse me. Maybe it's that North Node Chiron conjunction and Chiron that spirits wanted me to talk on. This is happening in your 12th house. So yeah, it takes on a bit of a spiritual nature for you. That's the thing about this. And this King of Swords is like, you're going to have to kind of think a little bit differently, especially with the sun in Aquarius and everything like that, especially with all these energies in Aquarius. You're going to have to kind of go about this a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? So I think this, especially with that, of course, all being in your 10th house, right? So you're a little bit more focused on like career and stuff like that this month, with all these energies shifting into your 10th house. But with that conjunction of Chiron and the North Node in your 12th, you have to make sure that there's a sextiling energy between those. So there's opportunities that can open up here, but you have to really ask yourself, is it still in line with my purpose and what I really want to do and who I'm really becoming too? That's the thing about this. So your whole thing, I feel like, Taurus, is whether or not you are going to embrace, you embrace spirit, and I kind of trust in spirit. I think Taurus is, this is going to be an exercise in faith for you this whole month. Really trying to find yourself. You may feel a little bit of a depersonalization. I think Tauruses are kind of going through that in general with North Node and Chiron and Aries. And maybe you guys are experiencing a little bit of depersonalization, of trying to really find yourself and kind of ask like those deeper questions. I think that's the other thing about the King of Swords, is that he typically is someone that enjoys philosophy, enjoys reading, enjoys writing, enjoys communication in that way. So, Taurus, I think just have a little bit of grace on yourself this month. You're kind of going through a good bit as far as that goes. I have the Sun card. Yeah, so remain bright, remain cheery. Know that you can do anything. Know that, the sun will rise. If you have a bad day this month, know that the sun will come up the next day. You have another opportunity, and do your best every single day to wake up positive. I think that's going to be the main thing for you, Taurus. Do your best to wake up and just be positive. Even if things seem kind of weird, even if things seem kind of crazy, even though if from like a spiritual standpoint, you're really questioning who you are and stuff like that, just remain positive and just, trust and have faith. I think Tauruses probably need to pray a good bit this month. Not that anything bad's going to happen, but I think it's just because, you're having to expand in ways that are outside your comfort zone, and you're already a super stubborn sign, Taurus, so it's a little bit tough for you to do that. Live an extraordinary life, cherry. I think that's beautiful, Taurus. I think this is, yeah. So, and you can do this, Taurus. I mean, you're ruled by Venus, stuff like that. You're ruled by the Earth. So, yeah, eat some cherries. Enjoy yourself this month. Try not to get super totally serious about this. I think it's because all those energies are moving into Aquarius, and that's your 10th house. That's where these conjunctions are happening. So, yeah, there's a lot of focus on like career and moving forward and legacy and stuff. But this month is still reminding you, is like, if you can't have fun doing that, then there's not really a point to it. If you can't have fun doing those sort of things, and you're just doing it just for money and shit, and you're just doing it because you feel like that's what's going to bring you the value, then it's going to rob you of your soul, And I think that's the important thing here. So your challenge is to truthfully, out of pretty much almost all the signs, except for maybe Aries, like really like selling your soul is for the 10th house. Selling your soul for the 10th house energy is not going to give you what you think it's going to give you, unless it's something that really aligns with your heart. You know what I mean? So live an extraordinary life, enjoy life, and you'll be Gucci. You'll be Gucci. So, all right, Gemini. Let's see what we got for you. Gemini. What do we have for you? Oh, interesting. Well, Gemini, looks like I have the 8 of Swords for you. The 8 of Swords. It looks like you maybe you have some blind spots that are kind of holding you back, Gemini. This conjunction with Chiron of the North Node, which is going to last for the better part of 2 weeks, and there's a lot of things happening in between there. It's happening for you in your 11th house, right? So this is, it has to do in many ways with friendships. It has to do, with, society at large, the way that you kind of put yourself out there, humanitarian stuff. Gemini, maybe you are feeling that you can't connect with people. Maybe you're kind of holding yourself back. which is very weird, Gemini. Normally, you're like the social butterfly. You're like a busy bee, kind of going around from different flower and flowering, engaging, and normally you're very curious. But it seems like Gemini, you may not necessarily be feeling as curious and as a buzzy bee, with all this energy. But I think this comes down to, in many ways, your beliefs. Your beliefs are going to be challenged a good bit. Why? Because you have all this energy that's happening in Aquarius, which is your ninth house, all these conjunctions that are happening there. So this is whether or not you really believe in yourself, whether you believe you can connect with the world. And just because things have collapsed and just because the previous system is like collapsing and done, whatever like that, doesn't mean that we can't create a whole new world, but you have to believe that just because these systems that we have created collapsed, they're still comprised of humans, and humans are still here. So it's about connecting with the human, right? So Gemini, don't hold yourself back this month. Maybe you are afraid to actually kind of go out and express and be curious and go out into the world. I think a lot of it, because all the energy is happening in your ninth house, which your ruling planet Mercury is, of course, going to be there for a good bit of the month. And, Mercury doesn't really like to be in the ninth house, much rather be in the third house. Of course, you're in the natural third house. It's dealing with the larger philosophical things. So sometimes, Gemini, you don't really like thinking of the bigger philosophical things. You kind of like just kind of going from group to group and keeping things light and keeping things fun. But I think it's going to be a month where it's going to you're going to have to start to consider the larger life philosophies. You're going to start to consider your vision more and what you see in the future. You're going to have to consider more of these deeper philosophical things too, and how to connect with people. Because I think the light stuff, I think it's good. I think it's fun. But I don't think it's really giving you the sustenance and the energy that you need. I think you're wanting more. And maybe you haven't been able to articulate that. Maybe you haven't been able to quite put your finger on it. But I think, Gemini, what it is that you actually want deeper conversations. You actually want to get a little bit deeper. You want to be a little bit more intimate with people. But it's a little bit outside your comfort zone to do that because you like to keep things fun. You like to keep things light. You like to joke about things, But this is a time for you to kind of come outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Bottom of the deck, I do have the Six of Cups, so that's nice. So this could be actually maybe an individual that you connect to from your past that you can finally open up and kind of share a little bit more of your fears, your worries, your insecurities, the things that you normally laugh about and make fun of and make light of. This is going to be an opportunity for you to actually share this with somebody and be more intimate with someone. And I know that probably scares the fuck out of you, Gemini, because you rather just keep things super light and cheery, but this is going to give you an opportunity to kind of share that with somebody. So either a past situation comes up, or maybe a past relationship, maybe a friend, maybe even a lover or something like that. Maybe some of you guys connect back with your parents that you haven't connected with in a while. Maybe you connect, maybe you connect with a therapist, something like that. I think Geminis are probably going to have a month where there's since there's a lot of 11th house energy, and that's what the Chiron North Node conjunction is for 2 weeks happening for you. A lot of it's going to be you probably opening up to a friend and kind of getting a little bit deeper about your insecurities and your worries and your anxieties. And they may see it as way out of character, be like, Gemini, why are you doing that? It's act differently, whatever like that. But it's like, why are you being such a Debbie Downer? Why are you talking about this? Normally you're the one making jokes and cracking jokes and all that shit. And, and Gemini, you might be like, oh, yeah, well, I guess I can go back to doing that. And I'm not saying to not do that, but I'm saying don't be afraid to open up. Don't be afraid to open up and to get honest and deep and intimate with somebody this month. I have the card of Pearl. Connect to the divine. I think this will be a great month, Gemini, for you to really meditate. That's really what it comes down to. Meditate, pray. It's kind of the same as Taurus and stuff, but I think the right person for you to open up with will come along, and you may have to meditate, and maybe spirit then will give you the answer of who that person is, or they'll just bring them to you. You may find yourself just randomly thinking of somebody, or maybe you find yourself suddenly someone comes across your social media feed, someone that you haven't talked to in a while, and maybe you just feel the need to connect with them. Do it. See what happens. Or Gemini, someone may connect with you and have all these conversations with you. Someone may connect with you someone maybe out of the blue with that Six of Cups energy, someone maybe from like high school or something like that, or from college or whatever, like they may connect with you and start opening up to you about stuff, and they'll actually give you the opportunity to open up as well, because you'll be feeling similarly, because they wouldn't reach out to you if you guys weren't on the same vibration. So it's like almost like you probably will have some sort of like therapy session with a friend this month, kind of going back and forth, sharing your experiences, sharing like your worries and your fears. And I would say, of course, I would encourage you to, have the courage to open up, but also have the courage to be like, you know what, hey, we're going to get through this together. Maybe you actually have like an accountability partner this month. That'd be kind of cool. So that is going to be for the Geminis. That is for the Geminis. All right, Cancer. That looks like chicken scratch the way I did that. Oh, geez. All right, Cancer. Cancerians. What do we have for you guys? All right, Cancer. Cancer, I have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Cancer, it's time for you to stop feeling like you're on the outside looking in of a great life. It's time for you to stop looking from the outside, looking through the window of other people that you think are having a better life than you. They have a beautiful life. They have all the things that you think you want. It's time for you to stop doing that and realize what you actually have. And realize that you have the opulence, you have the gold, you have the connections, you have the people, you have the family, you have the loved ones. You have it already. It's time for you to stop looking from the outside and look within and see the value that you have. Pluto is not in Capricorn anymore. I know y'all have been using that for a while, Cancer, and y'all been given a pass. And yes, Pluto will retrograde back into Capricorn later this year. So you're not completely out of the woods just yet. But just know, using the excuse of Pluto opposing you, it's not going to work forever. Now Pluto is quincunxing you, which means it's awkward. And you know what? Remember what I talked about? Some of you guys may have seen my other videos of the quincunx, opposition quincunx. The first quincunx is the awkward energy, the anticipation for the battle. Then you have the opposition, which is the battle itself. So it's been a 15-year battle for you guys. And then that last quincunx is whether or not you are going to embrace the transformation and the change. It's going to challenge you as far as like, all right, what did you learn from the battle? Now you're going to learn phase. So you can no longer just keep playing the Five of Pentacles energy, Cancer. You can't keep doing that. I had that followed by the Ace of Coins in reverse. So I think for you guys, this energy is happening in your 10th house. Cancer, for you, your career, your career, your legacy, what it is you. Like when you are really authentic to who you really are, then that stuff thrives. It thrives, right? It comes automatically. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be true to who you are. You can't outsource yourself and try to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Or like that's the thing. That's what Cancer does. You're a Captain Save-A-Ho. You're trying to save everybody. But your damn self. You're always trying to heal the world, but you gotta focus on you. Focus on your value, Cancer. You can't do that anymore. You can't be Captain Save-A-Ho. Pluto's no longer in your 7th house. It's in your 8th house now. Wait, not yet. Yeah, it's in your 8th house now. So it's a deeper, intimate thing. You can't play that game anymore. I love you, Cancer. I really do. The world needs you. But you can't be Captain Save-A-Ho anymore. America is a Cancer. What does America try to do? Save the fucking world. Can't be Captain Save the Ho anymore. And it's funny too, because it's like, even though America as a whole is a Cancer, like when it was founded, very much so it's like a Five of Pentacles kind of energy. Weird, right? A lot of people are coming here looking for opportunities and looking for all these sort of things. I think this is a great country. I really do. I don't know why I'm touching on this. I think this is a great country. I really do. I really want to be able to create a world where it can be like this everywhere, but it doesn't have to be Americanized. You know what I mean? I think it's more of like the values and stuff like that that really matter. So Cancer, I feel like for you, it's more like a value thing. You know, whether you trust your own value, whether you trust that you have what you need already, it's already there. That you don't need to go out and save the world to prove your worth. I think that's what Cancer tries to do. They go out into the world to try and prove their worth. And they try to just save everybody and think that's what's going to bring them the happiness. That's what's going to bring them the friends. That's what's going to bring them the connections and stuff. But no. What's going to bring you the connections is being true to who you are and healing your damn self first. That's what's going to bring it to you. Brilliance. Discover your sparkle. Jesus, discover your sparkle. I love this card, and I've been thinking about this particular card from this deck for a while. But yeah, Cancer, this is about discovering your sparkle, not being worried about someone else's sparkle, but your sparkle and how you shine. Cancer, it's time for you to actually polish your heart. Your heart has been a little bit dingy, a little bit dark, and I think Cancer, you guys have been working on polishing your heart. But I think you kind of been doing a half-assed job. It's time for you guys to do a full-ass job on polishing your heart. I think it's really going to help you this month. So, Leo. Leo. The card that I have for you. I have to kind of speed this up. I have enough time. To get this done. All right, Leo. The card I have for you. Leo, I have the Tower card, and maybe it's just because Pluto is opposing you and all this stuff is happening in Aquarius opposing you. So it probably does feel like a bit of a Tower moment, and Leo's like, fuck, now we got to go through what Cancer just went through. They had a 15-year cycle. We got a 20-year cycle. So I feel like, Leos, you guys are kind of moaning at this. Like, fuck, no, I got to go through this shit. But you're Leo, though, right? So it's interesting. You got the Tower card in the bottom of the deck. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Whew, Leo, you know, this conjunction with the North Node and Chiron for you, it's happening in your 9th house. So I think it really comes down to belief, and you have to really believe in yourself again. I think there's going to be opportunities, or there are going to be instances throughout the month where people are going to try and, you know, knock you off your game, knock you off your groove, challenge the integrity of your character and who you are. Maybe they don't necessarily believe in you, but it's about believing in yourself. You know what I'm saying? This whole conjunction that's happening here. And it could be with Leos that, you know, sometimes maybe you felt like in the past you might have built up certain things and you've had them fall. You've had them crash. You've had them burn. You know, the tower, like maybe you've built up different towers in your life with this 9th house Aries energy, different beliefs in yourself and stuff like that. And you've had to restructure yourself every single time. You've had to revamp yourself every single time. And I think that's really what this comes down to for you, Leo. Queen of Swords here too at the bottom of the deck. You know, you have to kind of come at things a little bit of an unorthodox way. I would say definitely connect with your fellow Aquarians. To kind of like, you know, the other side of the coin for you, kind of check out with them and see, you know, maybe they're going to offer like a different perspective. But I think it almost feels like your world kind of gets flipped upside down a little bit this month. And like I said, people are going to, there are going to be some people that may actually stop believing in you, and you have to ask yourself if you're going to still remain true to who you are. And I feel like Leo, you will do that because you're Leo, but you have to ask yourself, are you going to remain true to who you are? Or once again, you're going to kind of sell yourself out just to appease these people just so they can believe in you again. So it's kind of like, there's an interesting anime. There's a couple different ones, but there's an interesting anime where it's essentially about like this goddess, and like the gods and goddesses in this anime, they get power based off of how many followers that they have. And this one goddess, which at one point has so many followers, like loses them all and then has to try to regain them essentially. And I feel like, Leo, that's what's going to be kind of happening to you. Not that people are viewing you as gods, but if you can see it as people believing in you as giving you kind of like energy and stuff, and then people kind of pull back their belief in you, if you will, based off of maybe some of the actions that you take or have taken in the past. You're no longer getting that energy from them, but you have to be able to pump your own self up. But Leo, you're so good at that anyways. You're so good at like really gassing yourself up that I don't think you're going to have really a big problem with this. But you may at some point start the month feel like, oh, you may feel a little bit less energetic. You may feel a little bit tired throughout the month, I feel, Leo. And you have to just learn how to gas yourself up. Let the followers, if you will, because you're the king, right? Let the followers fall off. They're going to fall off, right? You can't make everyone happy. You can't appease everybody. So what if someone doesn't really believe in you anymore? Whatever, you got to remain true to who you are. And whether that's fans that fall off, family, friends, whatever like that, it's going to happen. I would say just like, if you're with me, cool. If you ain't with me, I wish you the best, but get out of my way. That's kind of the energy I'm kind of getting for you, Leo. For the color card, I have gray. Ooh. Learn to scan your body. Leo, like, this is such an interesting card, because it's maybe you're trying to like work out the gray areas in your life. Learning to scan your body is like learning to know what you need, what you want. I think it's going to be more so what you need. This could be a physical thing, more mental thing. I want to draw another card because I feel like of course, Leo, you're so fucking extra. So I feel like you almost need another card. Lemon, access innovative thinking. Yeah, Leo, I think it's just because the energy of the sun is in your opposite sign, so things already feel a little bit weird, but you have to think innovatively throughout this. You have to be a lot more creative in your thinking, and that's what's going to help you get through this. I actually feel like, Leo, some people there may be moments throughout the month, like I said, where people kind of stop believing in you. It may actually impact you more than you like to admit and bring on. I think you're probably going to do a good job at not letting these people have the time of day, or you're not going to give them the satisfaction of knowing that it's actually kind of messing with you more than you're letting on. But I think this is about just, I kind of get the same feeling that you should ground kind of like Aries, but still, I think just remain true to yourself, and if it impacts you more than you realize, people not believing in you, it's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that. And I think you don't want to, like I said, I think you just simply don't want to give people the satisfaction of knowing that it's actually impacting you a little bit more than you're letting on. You're human, man. Like, you're human, so it's okay. You know what I mean? So it's like you'll be all right. You'll make it through this, and you'll do the Leo thing that you always do and shine brightly and wake up. I think this is going to be a month where just wake up as positive as you can every single day. And if you have days where it kind of feels like a tower moment, then, well, shit, just keep it moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, it comes down to whether you believe in yourself. Leo that believes in himself is a Leo that believes in himself is probably one of the most powerful, creative beings on this planet. I'm just going to be honest. And that's for like Sun and Leo. So just saying, That's why people are jealous of you and they envy you, Leo, because you have that energy. So, all right, Virgo. The Virgoans. The Virgins. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. All right, Virgo, let's see what we got for you. Ooh, Virgo. Virgo, I have the Five of Cups. I have the Five of Cups upright. Virgo, you know, I feel like for you, this, that's the thing. This Chiron North Node is happening for you in your 8th house, right? So yeah, it's going to be a little bit deeper, a little bit more emotional, a little bit more psychological. I feel like Virgos, you know, there could be a bit of a somber energy with this kind of card because you're kind of looking at things that have passed and have spilt over, things that you have lost, but you have to see the things that you still have, you know, even though these other ones have fallen. And what's interesting is that 2 of them are red and 1 of them is blue. And then the 2 that you have over here are blue, right? So there's something going on with these red ones that have dropped, but you still have these blue ones right here too. So Virgo, I think what has been released has been the poison in your life, and you're crying over the toxicity that you have actually have exterminated from your life. You know what I'm saying? Like the toxin, this is 8th house energy, so this is scorpionic energy. I'm getting a very snake-like energy with this too. So it's like I feel like you've been doing the work and you actually have extracted a lot of the toxins and poisons from your life, and now you're kind of like, now what? It's almost like you're kind of missing it in a sense. Maybe because you learn how to live in a toxic way, in a toxic environment, you learn how to make the best of it for such a long time that now that you're healed and you're in a better place mentally, emotionally, especially, that you're kind of like figuring out, okay, now what do I do? You know what I mean? So I think it's about focusing on the things that you do have, focus on the things that are still in your life. It's kind of weird. It's almost like you're gonna, in a way, kind of miss the poison, mix the toxicity in a very weird way. Don't go back there. Don't go back there. Virgo, please don't go back there. Like, I know it may seem enticing, it may seem fun. Don't go back there. Like, this is going to be a month where you may psych yourself out and may go back to a past relationship or may try to rekindle something or go back to a past situation thinking that it's going to give you excitement again. Don't go back there. Just don't. Just allow it to be what it is. Just because it's almost like you kind of have like some muscle memory. It's like, well, this is how I was able to work within the toxic environment. And maybe you did some great things. Maybe you had some successes during that time, but you will be a lot greater service to yourself and a lot greater service to the world at large when you are functioning in a place where you're not poisoned. You're not toxic. Like it's like in Pokemon, when Pokemon get poisoned, you know, it saps their energy. And yeah, they may still win the battle, but it's much better for a Pokemon to not be poisoned than to be poisoned, right? Just because you have some wins under your belt when you are poisoned doesn't mean that that you wouldn't function at your greatest strength and be of greater service to other people and get more wins and do all that sort of stuff if you're not poisoned. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what this comes down to. Bottom of the deck, I have the Hermit card, you know, so it's like, yeah, you got to trust yourself. Maybe you go into a little bit of solitary energy. This is your card, and I love this card in this deck. It's so freaking beautiful. But yeah, Virgo, I think this really just comes down to like trusting yourself, trusting your gut, kind of doing the Virgo thing a bit this month, and just like, you know, just embrace your new vibration. And maybe it takes some getting used to. Maybe it takes like, you maybe have to take some baby steps this month to kind of get used to your new energy, used to the new vibration, used to what it's like to not feel these darker, poisonous, like 8th house energies, these deeper energies that kind of hold you back and stuff like that. Yeah, you might have learned how to live with that energy, but you wasn't thriving with it, not as much as you think you were, you know? So maybe that's the psychological aspect to this. So you thought you were thriving while poisoned, but now that you're not poisoned, you have a lot more energy. So now it's about like, okay, well, how do I go about this in a like the best way possible. You know what I mean? So, card I have for you is Mauve. Enjoy clear hearing. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe your hearing wasn't really that great. But now that everything's clear, maybe you can finally actually hear your heart and what your heart really wants and what your heart really desires, you know? So enjoy the clear hearing. I feel like this is going to be a great month for Virgos to connect with God and to pray and stuff like that and see the messages that come through. I think that's what the Hermit card is for, is take the time to yourself this month to pray, to meditate, and see what messages come in. Because now more than ever, you can hear clear. You can hear so much clearer now than you could before. And this is going to give you the great opportunity to really have some deeper insights and to really have some awesome psychological healing. Because Chiron is the wounded healer, right? So this is going to be some Virgos. This is going to be a great time for you to have some major healing and to clear out some really deep emotions that have been stuck for a while, right? So that's what I got for the Virgos. All right, Libra. Libra. Oh, it's like, yeah, okay. Ooh. Libra, I have the Magician for you. The Magician. I love this card. I mean, it's really freaking cool. It's like you're the avatar. You can wield all the elements. You know what I'm saying? This is a really cool card. Now, all this energy, of course, for you is happening in your 7th house with that North Node Chiron conjunction that's going to last for 2 weeks. The Magician card just speaks to you having the power to, you know, utilize the forces of nature to create and manifest your reality. Bottom of the deck, I do have the 4 of Cups in reverse. Libra, it's time for you to get off your lazy bum and start living life on purpose. That's yours is pretty damn clear cut. It's time for you to live life on purpose and with purpose because you have a lot of power this month to really do some great things. This energy is happening for, of course, in your 7th house, right? So a lot of it's going to be about relationships, but it's about like you have to develop that relationship with yourself primarily. You have some trauma and wounding from past relationships, but it's time for you to actually like stop mourning it, stop mourning the past, and start to actually like, get up and live life on purpose because you have a lot of awesome power this month, Libra, to do some really amazing things. Don't outsource yourself to another relationship that's going to have you, you know, overly identifying with the relationship and where you lose yourself again. Because Libras, you have a tendency to lose yourself in relationships and not consider what you really want because you want to keep the balance and the peace and the harmony. And you want to cater to the other individual. And there's an element, of course, where we like to cater to our partner, right? But you have to still know thyself. Yeah, you still have to know thyself. But I think with that 4 Cups in reverse, it's time for you to stop being apathetic and being lethargic and get off your ass and actually start moving forward and actually start living life more on purpose. I have Auburn as well. How in the world did I get Auburn for you and Aries? So you might want to watch Aries as well because I think you guys are very in sync and very important. I think you guys should probably talk to each other and stuff like that. If you know an Aries or anything like that, talk to them, ground with them, meditate with them or something like that. But yeah, honestly, Libra, for you, it's honestly pretty simple. You know, you've been apathetic, you've been lazy, whatever like that. It's time for you to get up and actually like, because I think it's the time for that the universe is going to be giving you these opportunities. That's going to come to a close. Like it's not just going to give you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. It's time for you to get up and make and create some opportunities and start living life on purpose, start putting yourself out there and connecting with the world again. Love you, Libra. Yours was pretty clear cut. So, all right. Scorpios, my fellow Scorpios. Let's see we get. Oh man, look at that! Look at that! Look at the cards just flying out. All right, let's go. Let's All right, Scorpio, let's see what we got for you guys. Ooh, Scorpio, I have the card of Justice. The card of Justice. Well, this conjunction of the North Node Chiron is for you happening in your 6th house, right? It's in your 6th house. In many ways, it's to do with service, your day-to-day reality, work, how you work. No, so you're looking to find the justice in that, bring balance to things. But, you know, the justice, like I said, she's wearing the blindfold and stuff like that. So I think this is about, like, you kind of having to approach things from a little bit more of a logical standpoint and not get too emotionally wrapped up into things this month. I think with the Chiron, you know, North Node happening in Aries, which is already a very intense, fiery, passionate energy, and you're like the fire sign of the water signs, and Mars does rule Aries, and Mars is a co-rule Scorpio. It was a traditional ruler of Scorpio. I don't really go with the double rulerships, but Mars still is strong in Scorpio. But this is justice, so it's about finding the balance and the harmony and those sort of things. I think, you know, for you are trying to find yourself, you know, when it comes to like your day-to-day work, your reality, and the service that you have to be able to still, you know, you have to not take things so personally this month, Scorpio, in your job, in your work, in your service. I think this is about, you know, there may be, you may feel impulsive needs to kind of change up a situation, maybe change a job and stuff like that. But it's going to challenge you to whether or not, well, if it's true to who you are, and if you have difficulty expressing who you are in this place, then yeah, that's when you make the shift. That's when you make the change. But if it's just like a little thing that kind of comes up and, you know, maybe you get the impulse to whatever, to leave or to exterminate that situation from your life, you know, I think you need to just come at this from a, you know, try not to take things too personally this month, Scorpio. I do have that followed by the Empress card. So yeah, you have to know your worth and your value too. I think that's what it comes down to. So if you feel like you're being disrespected and you feel like your value is not being seen, then yeah, alter the situation. But if it's just something that kind of just irks you a little bit and it's not really that big of a deal, then try not to take things too personally this month, Scorpio. I think that's really what it's going to come down to. That you may be a little bit sensitive when it comes to those 6th house energies. And I think with all the details of things, Scorpios are kind of wanting things to kind of, you may be nitpicking yourself even. And I think that's what Scorpios do. I mean, it's your 6th house. So Scorpios, what y'all don't understand about Scorpio is that Scorpios will nitpick the hell out of themselves. Like, we are our own worst critic. I mean, think about Aries is the self, and for Scorpio, it's their 6th house. So Scorpio is their own worst critic. So it's like, try not to take it too personally. Like, you may have some thoughts about yourself this month, whatever like that, and you may take things overly personal. I think this is really about, you know, stop being so damn hard on yourself, Scorpio. You know what I mean? I think that's the one thing that comes down to. Stop being so damn hard on yourself. Because oftentimes what you have a tendency to do is that you'll project that out on other people, and you don't necessarily mean to do that, but Scorpio will do that. They'll project how hard they are on themselves to other people, and then they'll pass it off as, well, I really deeply care about you, which can be true, but sometimes, Scorpio, you can just be a bit of an asshole about it. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, and I've done it before. I'm guilty of it. Sometimes we are like, it's unintentional, but sometimes because we're being so hard on ourselves and then it leaks out and we're hard on other people, it comes across as us being a bit of an asshole, being bitchy, you know what I'm saying? But try not to try not to take things super personal this month, Scorpio. Kind of lighten up a bit. I have the card of Brilliance as well. Discover your sparkle. I love this. So it's similar to Cancer. Yeah. Stop being so hard on yourself. Discover your sparkle, discover your worth, and realize that you have the capability to create an awesome daily reality for yourself. You know what I mean? And yeah, you're gonna nitpick. You may nitpick of all the details of your daily life. You may like, well, I should do this. I should do this thing. I should do that thing. Chill out, man. Be the Empress. Kind of chill and enjoy the moment. You know, enjoy the moment. Stop trying to be perfect all the damn time, Scorpio. Stop trying to appear perfect. You know, sometimes that's what Scorpio will try to appear perfect to people. You know what I mean? And if they're not necessarily in the greatest mood, then they'll put off like this whole, oh, I'm just dark and mysterious, blah 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 blah. But it's like a weird way of trying to hide, their imperfections and the deeper issues of intimacy that they sometimes have. With Scorpio, one of your biggest issues is being more intimate with yourself. You know what I mean? Because you're so nitpicky about it, right? So, discover your sparkle. Don't be so damn hard on yourself and other people, and try not to be too much of an asshole this month. Try not to, don't use that stinger too much this month, because I'm telling you, this is going to be a month where if you try to use that stinger, it's going to come right back at you. So do your best to not use that stinger this month, okay? All right, Sagittarius. All right, for my Saggies, my Sagittarians, my Swagitarians, my swags, what do we have for y'all? What's going on with y'all? What do we have going on? Sagittarius, for you, I have the Eight of Cups. It's kind of similar to, who was it that got the Five of Cups? It was Virgo. So it's kind of similar to Virgo in a sense. But you're kind of, you're definitely leaving behind the situation and you made your peace with it. And that's a good thing. This is their fifth house energy. So for some of you guys, it could actually be a romantic relationship that you guys are leaving behind. And that it's actually okay. Or it could just be you reflecting on a past relationship. But you're leaving it behind, and it's okay. It's good. It's just you're moving towards the future, and that's a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? So it has a bit of a somber kind of energy to it, but even so, he's holding that staff up, and he's walking away confidently from the situation. So I think that's what this is. Sagittarius, you can walk away confidently from a situation, knowing that you gave it your all, you put your best foot forward, you did what you could, and maybe you came up short, but that's okay. You can keep moving forward, and you'll be good. I have that bottom of the deck. I do have the Emperor card. I think it's interesting that we get the card of Aries in reverse too. So yeah, I feel like honestly for Sagittarius, it's actually pretty simple. It's like maybe, like I said, some of you guys, it could be a relationship. Some of you guys, it may even be like a passion project. And maybe it's time for you to actually kind of move on from that with the Emperor card in reverse. Or maybe it's like you're moving away from something that someone said that maybe you were inspired, by something and you gave it your all and maybe it didn't work out. I think you can walk away confidently knowing that it's okay if something doesn't work out. I think Sagittarius too, for you guys, it's easy for you to jump ship too. It's easy for you to move on if something doesn't sustain your inspiration and something doesn't like sustain your motivation, if you will. So I think for you, it's really about recognizing what are you inspired by? What are you motivated by? And if you find that whatever that is, if it's not truly something that aligns with your heart and it's something that was projected onto you by somebody else, or you want to impress someone else, and maybe that person's no longer there or whatever like that, or maybe you just no longer really believe in this thing, it's okay for you to walk away from it. Now, if you find that it's something that you really do want to do and something that you really do want to like, then I think you have to come at this from like a different angle and a different perspective. You have to think about it differently because all these energies now are moving into your third house of Aquarius with the conjunctions of Mars to Pluto, Venus to Pluto, Mercury to Pluto. All these energies are happening here. The new moon in Aquarius is going to be happening. So the Venus-Mars conjunction here, you have to kind of think differently about this. You know what I mean? So let's see what the color card is for you. I have watermelon. Have fun with your inner child. I love that. Oh, I love this card in general, but have fun with your inner child. Sagittarius, I think this is like you just really are having to kind of get back to basics. So maybe what you're leaving behind is the way that you went about this. I can almost see for a lot of Saggies, whether you are dropping a relationship or maybe wanting to drop a passion project, you have to go back to the way you felt like when you were a child and you were excited in something about something, if you were inspired by something. It's easy for us to walk away from things as an adult, you know. So it's like, say if you're learning how to skateboard, like it's different from being like 8 and learning how to skateboard and like 28 and you're learning how to skateboard. So at 28, you'll just walk away from it, and you'll probably be more afraid to fall down. Whereas an 8-year-old, they're not afraid to fall down. They'll just keep going and they'll just keep learning, and they're not necessarily maybe they're doing it to impress somebody, but they're just simply doing it for the fun of it. Whereas a 28-year-old, they could be doing it for the fun of it, but there's a lot more at stake there in their mind, whereas the kid's just doing it just for fun and just for fun's sake, generally, right? So I think that's really what it comes down to. You have to ask yourself, are you doing this just because you feel like it's going to get you somewhere in life? Or there's maybe like an authority figure, like the emperor is kind of telling you should do this, or are you doing it because you actually really want to do it and you're just super excited about it? So I think Sagittarius, you just got to get excited about life again and just really, like I said, have fun with your inner child and just remember what it was like to be inspired as a child about something. And then if you're not necessarily concerned about technique, you're not necessarily concerned about how fast you learn something or how fast something manifests, you're just having fun. So I think Sagittarius is just really going to be about having more fun this month, you know, and not letting anybody get in the way of you having fun. You know what I mean? So Capricorn, my Cappies. All right. Capricorn, the card that we have for you. Oh, Capricorn, I have the Moon card in reverse. The Moon card in reverse. Well, this energy is happening in your 4th house. So Capricorns, there are going to be some things that come up about, you know, your home life, your family, your sense of security, and your comforts. The Moon in reverse means that, you know, something may be a little bit off emotionally. You know, maybe your intuition is telling you that something is kind of weird and austere in this area. There have been some challenges when it comes to this, but this conjunction is happening in your 4th house. Sometimes Capricorn, you know, when it comes to family and stuff like that, it's a little bit weird for you with the 4th house because you've been struggling at finding your identity within your family unit, within your home. You've been struggling at finding your identity, and you have wounding when it comes to that energy. The Moon card in reverse here is saying that, kind of work on some of that and not to overly identify ultimately with that. I think for you, Capricorn, you've been kind of overly identifying with your identity in your family, in those more closer relationships that are like family, whether it's close friends and stuff like that, and your sense of home and your sense of comfort. You have some wounding there that needs to be healed, and about not overly identifying with that. We do have the card of Temperance in reverse. So there's definitely some opportunities for you to kind of transmute your understanding of this, Capricorn. But I think ultimately it's going to come down to whether or not you have the trust in yourself to continue to express yourself and be yourself and really be like, you know what, I know that things might have happened in the family life, but that doesn't have to define who I am. I think Capricorn is really about, especially when it comes like the family that you grew up with in childhood, and things with the mother too may come up, things with the father could come up as well. But this is about, you don't have to define yourself by what happened then. You don't have to define yourself. Those things happen, they're memories, they do impact you. They have contributed to who you are now, obviously, but you don't have to let it just fully define you. And I think that's going to be the thing with Capricorn, is that you're going to have to kind of transmute your understanding of all this. Now for the color card for you, I also got Auburn. So same thing with Aries, same thing with Libra. you got this card as well. All of the cards is funny. Like all of the cardinal signs got this card, right? Except for Cancer. Cancer got brilliance. So it's interesting with that, you know. So ground yourself once again is coming up. So get with your fellow Libras, get with your fellow Aries, you know what I'm saying? And y'all go off into the woods and meditate or something like that. Like, but yeah, so yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Like you have some trauma and some wounding when it comes to like the family. Maybe the family that you grew up in, maybe the family that you have right now, your friends, your close friends that are like family. You can feel that there's something off there with that moon like reverse card. But then the temperance card, you're trying to figure out the balance, you're trying to alchemize this energy, trying to transmute it. Don't overly identify with what happened back then. It happened. It's in the past though. It's time for you to move forward. It's time for you to ground yourself and to get a better understanding on how to move forward into this new reality. And I know it's been tough for you with Pluto that's been in your sign for 15 years. And yes, it's not completely done, but it's you know, getting towards its end. So I know it hasn't really been easy on you. It hasn't really been easy on any of the cardinal signs, but it's starting to shift, you know. And I think you can feel that too. You know what I mean? I think you can feel that, but it's try not to lose yourself in the past. Try not to lose yourself in the memories of what happened before, the ones that hurt the most. There's a lot of, I think there's some superpowers there with that Chiron that are wanting to be unlocked, and you just have to kind of look at it in like a different light, if you will. So that's what I got for the Cappies. Let's move on to Aquarius. My Aquas, my Aquarians. Let's see what we got for you guys. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got for this month. Oh, okay. Your two cards just fell right on out. All right, Aquarius. Well, this card kind of came up earlier. I have the Hermit card, and then I have the Sun card. I'm going to draw a third card for you guys just because it came out this way. I have the Hermit card and the Sun card. Well, for you guys, this is like your third house, and then the Sun's there as well. I think for you guys, this is about, I think this is about you kind of bringing to light certain thoughts that you've had about yourself, and you actually showing people and kind of revealing these things more. And you've been afraid to reveal these things and your thoughts and your honest opinions about things because maybe you did in the past, and then people perceived your character in a certain way, even if it didn't necessarily align with maybe they defined you by the things that you say. And a lot of times that's what happens with Aquarius, right? Like your personality, the way that people kind of perceive you are kind of defined by the things that you say and think. This is why everyone thinks that you're weird, because you have weird thoughts, because you think on a different vibration. That's why everyone thinks you're weird. That's why everyone thinks that you're out there. And that's why you typically will hermit that stuff up and you will kind of detach a little bit. Well, the Sun is going to bring to light those things that you actually think about, because you have really cool, unique, innovative ways of thinking that needs to be brought to the world, that needs to be brought to light. And I know that you're probably afraid of that because people are going to perceive you in such a weird way, and you have some wounding when it comes to that, because you don't want everyone to just think that you're weird or annoying or out there or austere, but just be your unique, rebellious, aqua self. Just be that. I have the Seven of Cups as well in reverse. This is about getting honest and direct about what you want to. You've been kind of giving the universe mixed signals too. And I think that's the thing about this. You've been giving the universe mixed signals. You are paralyzed by the choices that you have of the things that you can do. It's time for you to get clear on those things and to actually make a decision and actually choose something. Color card. I almost missed y'all's color card because I feel like yours is actually pretty clear to the point, and yeah, very direct, if you will. Ooh, I have the card of Orange. Nurture yourself. nurture yourself. Take care of yourself this month. Take care of your mind this month. Get a massage, you know. I mean, some of you guys, it's gonna be like it's gonna be your birthday, right? So that's the thing. Happy birthday to all the Aquarians out there. Nurture yourself. Take care of yourself. Go get a massage. Go get like a facial. Go to the sauna. Take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just you know, do that. Those are the things that are going to be very important for you. You know, don't be so worried about trying to, you know, Aquarius kind of has Captain Save a Ho kind of energy, but it's a little bit different than Aquarius. And then, excuse me, than Cancer, but Aquarius kind of has the energy too. But you can't really do that right now. Just nurture yourself, take care of yourself, and, you know, speak when you need to speak, and don't be afraid to show what you think about when you're in your hermit time. Don't be afraid to show that. Don't be afraid to reveal that to people. Yeah, people may think it's weird and out there, but the world needs that. We need that higher Aquarian energy to come in. We need that cosmic understanding that you guys innately have. We need that energy to come in more than ever now. And yeah, sometimes you may feel like, is the world ready for this energy? I don't think it really matters anymore. I don't think it really matters anymore. There's always people that are ahead of their time. And maybe the industry that they were engaged in wasn't ready for them. But it was ready for them because they wouldn't have manifested on this earth, and they wouldn't have done that thing if it wasn't really ready for them, just because people may not perceive that thing. And perfect example was freaking, we were watching Master Inc., like the latest season of Master Inc., and the person who I thought should have won didn't win, and I'm like, they weren't ready for him. He was an artist. He was a true artist. Not the person that won, great tattoo artist, but the person who I thought should have won, I don't think they were ready for him. I really don't think they're ready for him. He was super artistic, and I think he got gypped. I really think he got gypped. In Aquarius, maybe you feel like you've gotten gypped. Maybe you feel like you've gotten gypped with the cards that you've gotten in life because you feel like the world's not ready for you. Tough. Tough for them. Be yourself anyways, but you have to nurture yourself first. But be yourself anyways. So what if the world's not ready for you? There's someone out there that appreciates you for all of your weirdness. Right? And if there's one person that appreciates you for all your weirdness, there's probably another 5, there's probably another 10, there's probably another 100, there's probably another 1,000. You have a lot more people in your corner than you realize, Aquarius. And Pisces, we are on to you. Pisces. Happy birthday to the February Pisces out there too. I don't know how the other signs do it. I know that some signs are weird. I know it's Scorpios anyways, and it seems like the general consensus when I talk to November Scorpios that we don't claim October Scorpios. I don't know how all the other signs do it. I don't know if it's like some signs where it's like the later degrees don't claim like the early degrees or vice versa and stuff. But happy birthday to the February Pisces out there. I don't know how the March Pisces feel about the February Pisces. I don't know if you guys are like, we don't claim them or stuff. I know that Scorpio does that, but we're just harsh like that to each other. So it's all love, though. It's all love. Tough love, but it's all love. Pisces. This card just kind of flew out. Pisces. You might want to talk to your fellow Geminis. You guys got the 8 of Swords as well. Well, you know, this is happening in your second house, so I think it's about value. So maybe you're holding yourself back from really knowing and seeing and expressing your value. You know what I mean? Bottom of the deck, I do have the Page of Wands. At the Page of Wands. You know, I feel like with the Pisces, you actually will feel more inspired to kind of be yourself and kind of come out of your shell a little bit more. Come out of stop just being the pearl in the shell. I think Pisces, you guys have been great escape artists for like the last 15, 20, 30, 50 years. You guys have been great escape artists. Yeah, that's not going to really work anymore. Because believe it or not, you constantly escaping the way that you do is actually what's your prison right now. That's actually going to be your prison. It's time for you to actually like really, instead of just like seeking the magic in other realms, it's time for you to actually be the magic in this realm. And I think that's really what this comes down to, is that like your constant need to escape is what's actually holding you back. But the Page of Wands is inspiring you to realize that your true worth and value is that you are the freaking magic in this world. You are that energy. You know what I'm saying? And it's time for you to really start to bring that in and really express it more than ever. You know, and maybe some people might think like, oh, Pisces, you're always just you're always just off in the clouds. Your head's always in the clouds and stuff like that. But you know, I think this is and it kind of makes sense, Pisces, that your head's in the clouds. If the first house rules the head, and then your 12th house is Aquarius, which is like the clouds. So yeah, your head is in the clouds. They're kind of supposed to be in the clouds. Some people aren't necessarily going to get it and stuff like that. But I think for you guys, it's like, yeah, it's about not constantly holding yourself back and actually, being worried that people are going to get the fantasy and get all that sort of stuff like that. Maybe you guys, you kind of have to, as the peace stealer would say, go full fish tard. But in a way that, like, not in the way that you used to go full fish tard. This is about going full fish tard in the way that like you're not like escaping, if you will. But it's like, yeah, you kind of have to bring people into your world a bit. You know what I mean? And you do that by just expressing and being who you are. And then that's where you're going to find your value. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be so much that like they're looking over, it's like, oh, Pisces just doing what Pisces does. No, you're going to be like in people's face. It's like, oh shit, Pisces is actually here. They're actually awake. Wait, what's going on here? And they're going full fish tard. What in the world's going on? Normally you're going full fish tard way over there somewhere. Now you're right here in my space going full fish tard. That's what you kind of have to do, Pisces. Oh, Rainbow, connect to spirit and nature. I almost never draw this card. You got Rainbow. Of course you would do that. So a lot of you guys have gotten this energy of grounding yourself and connecting to spirits and stuff. I think this will be a very powerful month for a lot of people. For you, Pisces, connect to spirit and nature. Yeah, go out and, be like real with it and stuff like that. Take people, take someone with you. It's like, all right, guys, we're gonna go hunt for Pokemon. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go catch Pokemon today. Pokemon exists, don't exist. You may be like, oh, I don't know about that. But I think some of you guys may talk to some fairies this month too. But no, I think this is a very powerful card to just like kind of go out in nature. Just you may see some rainbows this month. I think when Pisces is really living in their true magical self and they see that value there, that, life becomes very iridescent, becomes very rainbow-like. They're able to see the beauty of they're able to see the beauty of everything. And Pisces, you're the 12th sign. You have a little bit of every sign in you. So you are, in many ways, the rainbow, if you will. You are in many ways the rainbow. You know what I mean? So I think this just comes down to embracing that aspect of yourself. Oh yeah, that's going to do it. I'm going to draw just one color card for every single sign too. Yeah, I'm going to draw one for every single sign. So for the entire collective, let's see what we got. I have the card of Ruby. Rejuvenate your body. Rejuvenate your body. I love this. So now that could be the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, the spiritual body. I think this is going to be the Ruby. It's like this deep breath. It's going to be a very powerful month, I think, to revitalize our energy, to revamp our energy, to rejuvenate our energy. You know, I think some of us have been kind of tired and dilapidated, but we still have a mission. And I think it's about, you know, taking that mission and like really moving forward and finding the courage and finding the bravery to keep on fighting the good fight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, rejuvenate yourself this month, meditate, go into nature, connect to spirit, pray, all of those beautiful things. It's going to be very, very important for everybody to do that. So we can go and move into this next era with, you know, the conviction and like a strong body, like a strong mind, strong hearts. You know what I'm saying? Like this is about rejuvenating all of those bodies. You know, like I said, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, rejuvenating all of that, so we can really start to live life more on purpose. Everybody, because I mean, yeah, some people do live on purpose, but it's about everybody. Imagine a world where everybody was living on purpose. That is a world that I it's without words, honestly, because it's like I don't think it's something we've ever been able to get to. But imagine if even if we got just like 5%, 10% of the people in the world really living on purpose, man, that's a world that I want to see. That's a world that I want to experience. So that is going to do it for your February 2024 astrological overview. I hope that you all enjoy this. I hope that this assists you on your journey this month. And yeah, it's going to be a very powerful month indeed. Like I said, I'm going to make sure that I drop this one a little bit later on in the evening. I have to get ready and go to work myself. But I hope that you guys take care and stay blessed and have a wonderful February. The astrology horoscope for February 2nd will come out tomorrow morning. And then, yeah, so, but y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful February, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out.